What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Tatiana Harness podcast. I am so excited to be on here with you guys today just to catch you up with a little bit of my life. It is officially summer for me now, which means I'll be able to have more podcast episodes coming out for you guys. I just finished my school year, which is very, very exciting. And I started Club in AAU it's May now. So about a month ago, it was our first viewing period event. And so that went very well. We've had a really fun time. Coach Mike's been coaching me and my sister Liv and I, because most of you know Liv's my sister. And it's been a lot of fun. Have some really good teammates who've been playing in some very, very good events. And I'm just really excited for the future and everything that it holds and all the other events that we should be playing in. Just been very busy lately with school and basketball. The usual, training, working really hard, and that's the main things. Yeah, I've also been keeping up with the WNBA a decent bit too. So that way I could have a podcast with you guys, which is what I'm going to talk about with you guys today is the WNBA season and the start to it all. And then also how we still need to expand the league because of how many of these good players are getting waived is insane. Like, I saw the Golden State Valkyries as a new franchise. They didn't waive the one that was playing overseas because I don't remember exactly what the conflict was, but she just can't come till next year. But they waived their other two draft picks, which is just crazy to me. And I feel like all draft picks should at least get one WNBA season and get one chance to do something and prove that they're able to be part of the team, you know? So that's my personal opinion, but you have players like Deja Kelly who hit a game winner for the Las Vegas Aces in preseason, and she got waived. That's crazy. Why would you waive someone who's already done so well for you and has proven to be clutch and made the most of her opportunities? So she went from undrafted, got a training camp contract, made the roster, hit the game winner, scored 12 points, and still gets waived. That's crazy to me. And you got Diamond DeShields, who was who was a superstar at one point. Yeah, I know she's fallen off, but she's got the experience and everything. She just got waived too. There's some crazy waves, and I just don't get it. I know that we need to expand the lead a lot more than we already have. But we're at a good start with the Golden State Valkyries for sure. So the Golden State Valkyries, I'm gonna go over their roster because they're a new team. They didn't get any big superstars for this year, so it's kind of a roster filled with middle players. Some you probably heard of, some you might not have. So arguably their best player as of right now is Tiffany Hayes. In their first game against who did they play? I believe it was they played the Los Angeles Sparks in their first game. They did lose. But Tiffany Hayes had 19 points and 9 rebounds. So she's arguably one of their better players, also because she has experience. So this was actually a really good pickup for them, in my opinion, to start it off. But then you have Timmy Fagbenley, who's a center. She used to be really strong for the Minnesota Lynx, but now she had 15 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals, so a very strong stat lineup. And then you have an unknown named Julie Van Loo, who had 14 points and 4 rebounds. She is a go-getter because she just brings all the energy. She went crazy with a couple threes that last game. And I believe she had 4 3-pointers in the last game. So 12 of her 14 points were threes, and she just brings a whole different kind of energy and vibe to the Valkyries. So she's definitely a good addition there. Then you have players like Monique Billings and Kayla Thornton, who are part of the starting lineup typically, and they offer a very good job rebounding. So Monique Billings had 7 points and 8 rebounds in the first game. Kayla Thornton had 6 points, 4 rebounds. So I feel like they're going to develop together for sure. Then you also have players like Kate Martin, Veronica Burton, Carla Late, I believe is how you pronounce her name. And they're all getting some decent minutes as well. And so I think it's going to be interesting to watch this team grow for sure, especially over the course of time. I do think that it's definitely not going to be this year. But I do think that they do have a chance in the future to have a lot of success, especially with the upcoming draft picks that they'll get. And then I believe that they will trade for maybe a star or two or some young upcoming athletes. You know what I'm saying? All right, next I'm going to go over to the Chicago Sky because they've had some heat around them this season, but they lost their first game to the Indiana Fever. And let's just say, I'm sure you guys probably saw it because there's this big conflict thing where Caitlin Clark had pushed Angel Reese in the back. Personally, I don't really think it was that bad. I think Angel Reese flopped and made it way bigger than it needed to be. But then Aaliyah Boston stepped in the middle of it, which I don't know why she got attacked, but she did, as well as Angel Reese. So it was this big controversy thing, and I'm sure you guys probably saw it if you're on social media. It was all over social media. But right now for the Chicago Sky, Angel Reese is arguably their best player. She had 12 points, 17 rebounds in the first game. Very impressive. She's always such a strong rebounder. And then you have Ariel Atkins, who's up there, who had 11 points, 4 rebounds, 2 steals. And then you had a couple people put in a good performance, like Rachel Banham kind of unexpectedly had a pretty good performance. She had 8 points, 2 blocks. Then you had Rebecca Allen adding in their 7 points. Camilla Cardoso had 7 points, 7 rebounds. Camilla Cardoso and Angel Reese are a pretty fun duo to watch with their outstanding rebounding. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chicago Sky end up in at number 1 for rebounding because they have Angel Reese, Camilla Cardoso, then they also have Elizabeth Williams in there as well. So very impressive. Then you also had Haley Van Lith make her debut too. She only played 4 minutes, but she had 4 points, so very efficient. You also have Kia Nurse in this lineup, Courtney Vandersloot. So Chicago Sky definitely have pieces. I think that they just need to piece them all together because I feel like it's a lot of great individual pieces. But again, I did not watch their game, so I can't speak on it too much. But I feel like if they actually develop and play a little bit better together, then maybe they'll do a little bit better. All right, next up, I'm going to go to the Connecticut Sun. They are 0-2. They had lost to the Mystics, Washington Mystics by 5, and the Las Vegas Aces by 15. So the Connecticut Sun have an interesting roster this year for sure. You have 2 pretty good bigs in Tina Charles and Olivia Nelson-Ododa. And you also add in there... and then Sanaya Rivers is kind of an in-between player. She could do a little bit of everything. And then you have superstar guard in Marina Mabry. Then you also have Bria Hartley, JC Sheldon, Lindsay Allen. You also have Rhea Marshall, the rookie, in there. So this is pretty interesting. So Tina Charles, everybody has gotten a decent amount of minutes so far. So you have Tina Charles, she's averaging 21.5 points per game, 7.5 rebounds per game, which is pretty impressive because I honestly thought that Tina Charles was going to fall off the map a little bit, but clearly she hasn't. She's up there leading Connecticut Sun with all of her experience. Then you have Olivia Nelson-Ododa, who's starting to make a name for herself. She's averaging 13 points, 5.5 rebounds per game, so very efficient. Then you also have Sanaya Rivers, who played in a game. She had 11 points and 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block. Bria Hartley, she's averaging 9 points per game. Marina Mabry, also 9 points per game, but I think she's going to have to average a little bit more for the Connecticut Sun. Well, not even average. I think just do a little bit more offensively in order for the Connecticut Sun to be successful because they do need scoring, a decent amount of scoring. So that's really it for the Connecticut Sun. It seemed like, they're averaging 73.5 points per game, but let's see. I think that they could definitely shoot the 3 ball better. They've only shot 19.4% from 3. And I honestly feel like that falls on Marina Mabry because her 3-point percentage as of right now is 15.4%. So we definitely are going to need her to step it up in order to see the Connecticut Sun to have some more success, in my personal opinion. All right, next up we go to the Dallas Wings, who had the number 1 pick with Paige Weckers. They also start off the season 0-2. They had a loss to the Minnesota Lynx by, 15, and then they lost to Seattle Storm by 8. Paige Bueckers is actually the number one overall player right now over Arike Gumbawale, which personally I was not expecting, but I'm also not surprised at the same time, if that makes sense. So Paige, she's averaging 14.5 points per game. She's averaging 6 rebounds, 5 assists. I mean, she just comes into this league and fits right in there. She's had some welcome to the WNBA moments for sure. You guys may have seen one of them with her guarding Nafisa Collier. It was pretty funny. Her face is all like, oh, smashed together because she's trying to guard her. But Paige, I mean, she's just already a superstar in the WNBA. Then you have Arike averaging 12 points per game. That's about it. We are definitely going to need her to do more in order for the Dallas Wings to be more successful, because when Arike is scoring more and just being more aggressive overall, she definitely brings a lot more and adds a lot more to the team. Then you have Maddie Siegrist, who is finally finding her rhythm, because she's a great, super hard worker. She's averaging 11.5 points per game, 3 rebounds. Then you also have Dejani Carrington and Alyssa Smith between 9 and 9.5 points per game. Then you also add in there Maisha Hines-Allen with 7.5 points per game. Then you go down the list with the pretty talented Tiara McCowan, Kayla Charles, Tyasha Harris, JJ Quinterly, and Isaiah James. So the Dallas Wings have a very deep roster. I think they're just definitely so young, and they have such a new roster too. So they're looking to rebuild, but I feel like if they stay together by next year, then they're gonna have like a clique that potentially no other team has. So it's interesting. We'll see how it all plays out. Next, we go to the Atlanta Dream, who lost to the Washington Mystics by 4, but they beat the Indiana Fever by 1. The Atlanta Dream, they're currently 1-1. Alicia Gray is having a great start to the season. She's averaging 20.5 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 6.5 assists per game. I think this is honestly her year to step up and do great things, because Alicia Gray, she's always been one of those mixed players that averages a decent bit, can score, can rebound, can pass the ball, but her name's never really up there. So I think this is definitely like a come-up season for her. Then you also have a talented Brittany Griner on this roster, averaging 19.5 points per game and 8 rebounds. Then you also have, you have a crazy duo with Brittany Griner and Brianna Jones. Brianna Jones is averaging 17.5 points per game and 11.5 rebounds and 4 assists per game. Very talented. Then you have Ryan Howard, who's averaging 15.5 points per game, 4.5 assists. Then you have Tahina Paopao, who made the roster, who she's averaging 5 points and 2.5 assists per game. I think we'll need a little bit more scoring for her and Nia Coffey in order to be a little bit better. I think this is a really good scoring team. I mean, they're averaging 90.5 points per game, but I do think that they are going to have to play a little bit better defense and lock up some more defensively, because the Atlanta Dream is a very great scoring roster, and I wouldn't be surprised if they finished a little bit higher than where they are currently. And, I wouldn't be surprised if they finish higher than what people think that they can this year. I think they're a very talented team. All right, next we move on to the Seattle Storm, who are currently 1-1. They lost to the Mercury, but they beat the Dallas Wings. So the Seattle Storm, they are very interesting, because I feel like, how do I say this? I feel like they're very talented, but I feel like they have a couple no, that's not even true. I'm just gonna talk. So you have Skylar Diggins-Smith, who is finally back to the WNBA. I'm sorry, Skylar Diggins. Smith is not in her last name anymore. She dropped 21 in her last 2 games, and she's also averaging 6.5 assists per game. She's definitely leading this squad. Then, excuse me, you have a very talented Nneka Ogwumike. She has 17.5 points per game, as well as 12.5 rebounds per game. She's a very strong piece overall. I can't wait to see her and Tina Charles face off against each other. Then you have Gabby Williams, averaging 10.5 points per game and 4.5 assists. And then there's kind of a drop-off from there. You have players like Zia Cook, Erica Wheeler, Ezzie Magbagor, Alicia Clark, that you definitely are going to want to get going and scoring some more. This team, they're a pretty low-scoring team. They're only averaging 69 points per game, but they are very strong defensively. And so I see the Seattle Storm doing pretty well this season. I see them finishing right in the middle. I wouldn't be surprised if they go on a little run here and play well. Not much more to say other than that. So then you have the Las Vegas Aces, who I'm gonna move my computer here, who are 1-1 to start the season. They had a pretty bad loss to the New York Liberty. They lost by, what is that, 14 to the New York Liberty. But then they came out and they beat the Connecticut Sun, which was a great win for them. Excuse me. And they beat them by 25. Clearly, it was a statement game after that loss. Um, but you can't, I bet you guys can't guess who's up there at the top. You got Asia Wilson, who's up there very high. She's averaging 26.5 points per game, 13 rebounds per game, as well as 2.5 steals. I mean, she's just arguably the best player in the league. She's so unstoppable, can do so many great things. You have the typical starting lineup because then you got Jackie Young in there, averaging 16 points per game. You have a new addition. Instead of Kelsey Plum, you got Jewel Lloyd in there, and she's starting off the season just fine, averaging 12.5 points per game as well as 4.5 rebounds. Chelsea Gray's up there with 12 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, 4 assists. You got kind of a drop off on the bench. I mean, you got Tiffany Mitchell, which was a great addition to them. Dana Evans has had a good start to the season, averaging 7.5 points per game and 3 assists. You got Kaya Stokes in there, averaging 7 rebounds but 0 points per game. But she's just a really good addition and a great passer for them as well. So I'm not too concerned about the Aces. I mean, yeah, they're kind of low and in the middle right now, but I don't see them finishing there. I definitely still see them finishing up top. I mean, the Aces are so tough. So next up, you got the Los Angeles Sparks. Kelsey Plum has sparked this team for sure. They're currently 1-1. They beat the Golden State Valkyries, but lost to a very strong Minnesota Lynx team. Kelsey Plum's averaging 27.5 points per game, as well as 5.5 assists, and did I say assists per game? I missed points per game, and then 3 steals per game. At first when I watched her during preseason, she wasn't playing too well. I'm like, oh shoot, like this might not be very good for them, but she's had a very strong start to the season, so I'm very happy for her. And then you got Dearica Hamby averaging 17 points per game, 10 rebounds. Azura Stevens with 16 points per game, 5.5 rebounds. Rakea Jackson with 10.5 points per game. I definitely think they're going to need their scoring to be a little bit more even out. But I also think they need a little bit of a deeper bench because outside of you have Odyssey Sims, who I believe is in the starting lineup as well. But then you only have Sarah Ashley Barker and Mercedes Russell have gotten minutes, and Ray Burrell, but now Ray Burrell is hurt, so she's not going to get many minutes. Well, she's out for a while, so then you only have a roster of 7 right now, so not very deep. Definitely going to need to see a little bit more depth for the Sparks, especially later on in the season, but they're definitely having a great start. Next, we go to the Phoenix Mercury, who have had an amazing start to the season. They had a great win against Seattle Storm. The Phoenix Mercury are tough this year with basically a brand new team. You got Satu Sabali, who went crazy. She had 27 points and 6 rebounds. She had a great showing. Alyssa Thomas, right next to her, had 20 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Then you have Alexa Held, who you don't normally hear of, but she had 11 points that game. Catherine Westfeld, she had 9 points. Then you also have Sammy Whitcomb, Kalani Brown, and Alexis Prince in there, who are all adding in some decent minutes. And so they have a pretty deep roster. They have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 players that play they all play over 17 minutes per game. So Phoenix Mercury have some depth. Looks like they're playing well together and have some pretty high scores. I think they are going to need to play a little bit stronger defensively, but overall, they're going to be a team you need to look out for this season. Next, we go to the Washington Mystics, who start off 2-0. Now, this is very surprising because the Washington Mystics have started off very strong with some players I was not expecting to start off that strong. They had 2 close wins, one against the Atlanta Dream and one against the Connecticut Sun. The 2 rookies are doing crazy, and they're playing so well together. And that's Sonia Citron as well as Kiki Ariafen. But first of all, you have Brittany Sykes, who's had a pretty great start to the season. She's averaging 24.5 points per game as well as 6 assists per game. She's played a lot better than she's been able to show, and you've been able to tell that she's had a really great offseason. But Sonia Citron has averaging 17 points per game. Then you have Kiki Ariafen averaging 15.5 points per game, 9 rebounds per game. Both of them just have such a good feel for the game, and they're just playing so well. And if they keep it up during the season, both of them are going to be in the run for Rookie of the Year, and it'll be between the two of them. So I think they're doing a great job leading this Mystics team, and if they keep it up, I mean, the future for them is looking so bright. But you also had in there Jade Melbourne with 13 points per game. Who else is contributing some good minutes? Emily Angsler, Stephanie Dolson, Shakira Austin. I think she might have got hurt because she has not played very much. But then you also got a Lucy Olson and Sika Cone. So Washington Mystics go deep for sure. That's going to be a very talented team, especially within the next couple of years. Next up, you have the Indiana Fever, who are currently 1-1. They had a really good win against the Chicago Sky, then lost by 1 to the Atlanta Dream. Indiana Fever being led by Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. No question or doubt there. Caitlin Clark averaging 23.5 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, 10.5 assists per game. So crazy, almost averaging a triple-double. Aaliyah Boston right up there, averaging 21.5 points per game and 11.5 rebounds and 3.5 blocks. Kelsey Mitchell right up there too with 19.5 points per game. Natasha Howard with 10.5. Lexi Hull with 7.5. Then you kind of have a drop off. I'm really looking to see some more from Dewana Bonner. She's only averaging, she's playing a lot of minutes, but she's only averaging 3.5 points per game, as well as 3 rebounds. So she's not doing too much, but we all know she's a vet that can get going at any point in time. So definitely want to see some more from her. You also got a Sydney Colson, Demiris Dantas, Brianna Turner. This is a really good team. So I definitely want to see, not necessarily the scoring, but just the minutes and contribution more evened out throughout the team. And because they have so many talented pieces, I feel like piecing that together will make them so much better. Next up, you have the New York Liberty, who are currently 1-0. They had a great win against the Las Vegas Aces. They're off to a pretty good start. Brianna Stewart, 25 points per game, 8 rebounds. Natasha Cloud, which she has been very excited to play with Brianna Stewart, and she's definitely shown it. She had 22 points in the first game, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, and 3 steals. Very good first game. If she keeps it up, she makes the New York Liberty really good. Then you have Jonquel Jones, 17 points per game, 17 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Kennedy Burke getting in there, 10 points. And then Sabrina Ionescu, which we all know she can get going at any time. She had 8 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Niara Sabali with 6 points, 5 rebounds. The New York Liberty are very deep because then you got Maureen Johannes, Rebecca Gardner, Leon Fibich, Isabel Harrison, Jalen Sherrod, Markeisha Davis. So you have a really strong, deep roster at the New York Liberty. I don't really have too much to say because I don't have an opinion, honestly, on the New York Liberty. They were honestly a question mark going into the season for me. But the Minnesota Lynx, it might be their year to win it all. They're looking unstoppable. They had a really good win against the Dallas Wings and the Los Angeles Sparks. Nafisa Collier literally looks unstoppable. She's averaging 28.5 points per game, as well as 5 rebounds. Courtney Williams, 19 points, 9.5 assists. Alana Smith, 18 points. Jessica Shepard, 13 points. Diamond Miller, 7.5. And it's just a very good roster overall because then you got Natisha Hyman, Carly Samuelson, Bridget Carlton, Alyssa Peely. So you have some very strong pieces on that team. Honestly, they're looking unstoppable. I would not be surprised if they win it all this year. They're so tough. My personal prediction as of right now, I got Minnesota Lynx winning it all. I wouldn't be surprised if Washington Mystics and the Phoenix Mercury are second and third, though. So just keep your eye out for it. This WNBA season is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to keep you guys updated with it all and everything. I miss being on here with you guys. I love just yapping about the WNBA season. So I appreciate you all listening in. I will be talking to you all soon. Make sure you share this with your friends, and I will see you all next time. That wraps up today's episode of the Tatiana Harness Podcast.